Hello gamers, Rever here, and I am going to start a new series that is going to be reviews of how games play on a triple monitor setup. I have many opinions about different games in the last, I don't even think it's been a month, but it's been close to that I've been, that I went out and bought three Acer let's see, I'm not going from memory, HL276 monitors and set them up and build a table. I would recommend that if you're going to get 27-inch monitors like this, you probably need a table at least 5 feet wide, like a kitchen table size table. I ended up making it 6 feet wide just so that the monitors weren't hanging off the end and gave me plenty of room to maneuver them and whatnot. But I actually have a piece of plywood that's 4x6 that I put on top of an old kitchen table I had, and then, but anyway, it's a nice little setup. It's very immersive. If you guys haven't used triple monitors, I would have to say that it's, you know, is it worth the $570 that I paid for the three monitors? I guess it depends on how much $570 is worth to you. I would say that, I've never done VR, so, I mean, some people say that's better. I don't imagine it would be much better because, when I play flight sim, I can't imagine that the VR causes problems because you're constantly looking at your flight controls and, so it's going to depend on game to game. And I imagine some of the same issues with the field of view are going to be the same problem. So, I realize that I spent in the neighborhood of the same amount that I would have for VR, and I'm assuming that again, but I'm also, I'm used to gaming with a mouse and keyboard, and, I'm a PC gamer. And anyway, I'm happy with the decision. I would like to find some more games that suit it, and then keeping this in mind too, that even on other games that don't suit it real well, if this is your main setup, you end up with, you can change your NVIDIA settings back and forth, and you end up being able to use the left and right monitors for putting up whatever, I'm sure it depends on your graphics card and all that, but you could play a YouTube video on the one monitor or have like maps and other images. You can use all three screens as part of your gameplay, even if the game itself doesn't have proper support. So I'll talk about what I think is one of the key things is how these companies end up doing. We're going to come over here, and for each game that I review, I will show you my settings. I've already gone in and played this particular game quite a bit, so and I'll try to do that for you guys. I'm sure there's going to be games that I do that I consider almost unplayable, and in that case, I'll just make this real brief and show you what I try to do. And if you guys have feedback, if you're doing it, if you see something in another game that I should be doing and make it better, please let me know. I'll be happy to share it with the community, maybe even redo the video, revisit the game. This is not a, I'm not a formal guy. This is just me playing video games and sharing my experiences with you. So you can see how I have it set up. Like I said, 5900 by 1080. At least I think I said that. And I've put my field of view. This seems to be the kicker for games and how they handle the field of view. So in other words, most games are designed around a certain aspect ratio or a certain set of aspect ratios. And I think, the aspect ratio that I have here, I don't even know what it is exactly, but it's like, what is that, like 6:1 or something like that? It's, extremely stretched out from one side to the other. This, in real life, on 27-inch monitors, if you just think about what 27-inch monitors means, it means, this from here to about where my mouse is, to over here is over 2 feet, so there's another 2 feet from there to there, and then there's another 2 feet from here to here. So this is almost, close to 6 feet wide, even when I have them turned inwards. I have this monitor and this monitor turned in at about a 30-degree angle, I'd say. And, You know, so when I go to hit this back button over here, you know, it's 6 feet away from this corner over here. More than that, technically. So it's quite a distance, and I don't think that they really do a good, a lot of games don't do a good job of expanding that. Like a normal monitor may, you know, may be able to go to a pretty high aspect ratio, but not from here to here maybe. So you start getting a lot of distortion over in the sides here. So anyway, so I'll make sure if I can, I'll explain whatever field of view settings I've tried, and I have not tried to max this out. It might make it better, it might make it worse. It starts out at about 100, or, well, not even, it's 70 something, I think, and I put it up to 130. If you do look online at older, you know, older notes, like from 2014 or 2015, you'll see people complaining about, I can't turn it up over 90. I don't know if that's an issue, you know, with you might have to have a certain resolution to turn it up higher, but I had no issues with turning it up to 130 there. So I don't want to change any of those, so we're going to go back, and we'll go back again. Now, one thing to say about this game is, again, remember to talk about the distance. You know, you can see that if I want to change something, I have to come all the way back over here, you know, go into key bindings, whatever it is, come all the way back over here to get back. So, you know, there's a lot of all the way across the screens moving with the mouse here. So that's a bit of an issue. I wish they would, you know, center things up, or at least keep them all on the same side. Like even if it was just all over here, you know, it would be fine. So anyway, I hope that makes sense to you. So I'm going to come in here to Sandbox, and I just started this one a few minutes ago. You can see I already took damage, and the reason I took damage, so we're going to come back in here and hit resume. I actually spawned right in this hunter's cabin, and I don't know where it's saving my progress. Okay, it saved it right when I came in the door. So the reason I took damage is because I went out there to harvest this deer carcass that I have. I've played this Mystery Lake map a few times, so you know, I came in here to get this stuff and get these curing because they're good to have for either fixing your current equipment or not. So I'm going to assume that you guys haven't played The Long Dark, and The Long Dark is a survival game. It, I would have to say, for me, is one of the more realistic games that you can play as far as survival goes. There's not magical huge spiders or zombies or any of that stuff. It's, you know, within the bounds that it is a game, it's an interesting, you know, interesting survival game. You see you have clothes here. We can actually change this menu. If we had some more clothing, we could add, you know, take away whatever else. So part of the challenge, especially I'm sure in the beginning, and I've never really got past what I'll call the beginning of a map, is to, you know, improve your clothing. To the point too, when you get a few resources, you can improve the quality. This one's at 62%. So if you start gathering up some cloth and you start, you know, you can start repairing. Looks like my clothes, well, see, my socks are a little bit worn, and by repairing them, you'll move up your thing. You move up your, you know, their protection level. So apparently clothes wear out. There's a, let's hit escape here to get out of that. See, that's another thing. Like, it's easier for me to hit escape on the keyboard than come all the way over here. Boy, it would be nice if that back button was just right down here. You know, that, you know, same thing you'll see with many of the menus. But we do have this. This works out nice. We can come over here and see our guy's health, and he is 92% at this point because he has hypothermia. Now, I'm not panicking at this point because I am in the back in the hut, and you can see over there on the left that, you know, he is warming up slowly but surely. So, and I did go out there and accomplish getting my deer guts. Let's see, this is you know, it's curing now, so it'll take a few days for that to cure. We already picked the safe, and I didn't pick up all this stuff around here. I figure I'll make this a bit of a base for a little bit anyway. I like using that camp office so far, which is another part. I don't want to give away a lot of spoilers, but there's some better home bases potentially. But this could be a good base for for some other things. Here's another thing you can do.
I could use this.
Research. So since we're kind of cold and whatnot, we could come in here and go back to show all items. And if we select this wilderness kitchen, we can start training. So if you're sitting there healing up or warming up, you know, it's not the worst thing to do at that point. You'll see that we have a wood stove here, so we can get a fire started. This is very critical. I would almost say it's more critical for making water and even potentially cooking food. I haven't done a lot of like meals cooking, but it seems like that is something you could get into. Apparently your skills do increase, so you can see each time I go to start a fire, I have this base fire starting chance. This will increase after you've started enough fires. Here's your chance of success. So the reason my success is so great is because I'm trying to start it with that book. If I tried to start it, like just start a cedar wood log directly on fire, you can see it significantly reduced my chances of starting that fire. We have another reclaimed wood. See, we only have a 40% chance of starting that. If we had other types of tinder, that can also help your chances. And I don't know if the matches or whatever you're lighting it with significantly affect your chances. We could use accelerant, and if you look, that makes this, you know, much more likely to happen if we come. We don't want to build our wilderness kitchen, but you can see the idea is that takes us up. We're going to light the fire using accelerant in a book, and same thing with just directly doing the cedar wood. I don't ever use the accelerant just because I tend to be that way in games where I hoard resources that I consider precious, probably to the point that I should just use the darn things, because what's the point in having resources that you never use? But anyway, I don't know if you guys do the same thing, like, oh my gosh, diamonds in Minecraft are so valuable that you just never use diamonds until you have a boatload of them. And in this game, I get the feeling you're never going to have a boatload of certain things, but you'll get enough. I'm on the normal mode, so I'm sure there's much more difficult, you know, there's some
this will come in handy.
much more difficult ways of going about this. Plastic container, I forgot to search, and to know. So you run around, you pick up stuff. You know, I don't know if you guys can tell over the course of the series. I know that the video is not going to be the greatest, you know, as far as being able to see what's going on, but hopefully it gives you enough of an idea of the field of view. But just absolutely comfortable, well done field of view. I mean, as I spin around here, there's, you know, I have a bezel correction on my NVIDIA card, but just absolutely well done. I mean, it's, you know, you could play the game for hours. It's enjoyable. And there you go. So yeah, the one complaint I would have about it on triple monitors is the fact that, you know, the buttons end up, you know, so far away from each other. You know, if you click on the stove, half the stuff's all the way over here, and then, you know, 5 feet away is the stuff over there. So that would be my biggest complaint. You know, if they could just get that, you know, where it was over here, that would be wonderful. Or vice versa. So there you go. So on my first review of a game and how it works on triple monitoring, and just the game itself, but the triple monitoring, wonderful. If you're into survival games, wonderful. So that's the review. I couldn't, you know, if I had to give it a, you know, score, I might take off a 0.9 out of 10. And the only reason for taking away, not saying a 10 out of 10, is because those you know, buttons are so far away from each other, which, you know, you get used to it. It's not the end of the world. So there you go. So if you're going to get a triple monitor setting where you have one and you're interested in a long dark, I definitely would say go for it. It's a good game for this. Well, have a good day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.